Hello, good evening, welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live from Aniyusabata, Desawe, Kanda, also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. We're also live across the world on 3news.com. We're live at 3FM 927 on YouTube as well. This evening here on Hot Edition, Brian Champon declares intent to contest the MPP flag bearership. We've got details for you as to the people who are behind and supporting this decision that he has just communicated. Stay with us here on Hot Edition. Also on the Sky Train matter, and the court has adjourned the case as Professor Christopher Ameyaw-Akonfi's lawyers seek Supreme Court intervention. Stay with us. We've got details for you on the latest one here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Also, an NIA operations in limbo as staff begin indefinite nationwide strike over unpaid allowances. This evening, the National Education Authority makes a passionate appeal to the striking workers to call off their strike. We've got details for you here on Hot Edition. A police rescue victim in a viral video subjected to hanging and severe beating by a 27-year-old man. Also, a University of Ghana community records confirmed suspected cases of COVID-19 as Health Directorate cautions public to be vigilant. Stay with us here on Hot Edition. We'll tell you exactly what's happening with this particular case of COVID on the University of Ghana. That's the community as the updates come through right now, and more growing discontent to decision by the opposition MPP to proceed and also hold its presidential primaries for the 2028 general elections without reforming the delegate structure for the polls. All these plus the latest in business and sports over the next 1 hour 30 minutes here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 and on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. We'll give you an update as well on what is happening in Parliament as we speak. The members of Parliament are debating some key issues which will cross over shortly to give you a feel of what's happening in Parliament right now. I am Alfred Ocansey. Let's settle for a summary of the news now, and Christabel Success is here.
Thank you very much, Alfred. And in our summaries tonight, the Health Services Directorate of the University of Ghana is cautioning the university community of a recent resurgence in COVID-19 cases, with a few suspected and confirmed cases reported in the university's immediate vicinity. The university's Health Services Directorate, in a notice issued on June 23, noted that in light of the development, all staff, students and visitors are strongly advised to remain vigilant and to strictly adhere to the following recommended preventive measures to reduce the risk of infection and the spread. The Health Services Directorate has also reactivated its COVID-19 response protocols, including screening measures at health facilities, while it monitors the situation closely for regular updates, and we'll be following this also closely as well. The Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOGSAG, has obtained a court injunction against the National Labour Commission. According to CLOGSAG, the injunction is aimed at preventing the Commission from interfering in its ongoing strike action. CLOGSAG declared the strike in protest over what it describes as persistent verbal abuse directed at its members working at the Births and Deaths Registry. The registrar of the department, Samuel Adumbotre, has been named as the source of the alleged misconduct. The association says the strike will continue until the concerns of its members are fully addressed and appropriate disciplinary measures are taking. And finally, lawyers of the former board chairman of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, Professor Christopher Ameyaw-Akonfi, have filed processes at the Accra High Court seeking to stop the criminal case against their client. Professor Ameyaw-Akonfi, together with the former CEO of GIF, Solomon Asamoah, have been charged with multiple offenses, including causing financial loss to the state and intentional dissipation of public funds in connection with the failed Accra SkyTrain project. They have both pleaded not guilty and are on bail, while Professor Ameyaw-Akonfi is on a 10 million cedis bail with 2 sureties to be justified. Solomon Asamoah has been granted a 15 million cedis bail with 2 sureties to be justified. In court on Tuesday, June 24, lead counsel for the former GIF board chair, Duke Aaron Sassoon, notified the courts of the motion he had filed, but was stood down by Justice Comfort Tasiame, who drew his attention that the the agenda for today was the case management conference. Over to you, Alfred.
Thank you. There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. Let's cross over to Parliament right now. Alexander Penyomake, the minority leader, is on the floor addressing the matter of the termination of the appointments of some over 100 staff of the Bank of Ghana, and this is the news that came through sometime last week, and this is also taking center stage in Parliament right now.
For us to suspend our rules to allow for the moving of this motion for the adoption of the report. Mr. Speaker, I do not want to believe that there may be something that I don't know. Mr. Speaker, only yesterday, our friends argued that there was no need to rush. Mr. Speaker, in fact, the majority leader is on record to have said that even the nomination of 2 justices to the Supreme Court at the time when some were being expected to retire was too early in the day because the people had not retired. So why was Akufo-Addo's government in a rush? Mr. Speaker, today we are in June. The bench is about going on legal vacation. We know that there is sufficient number of judges at the Supreme Court now to make determinations. Mr. Speaker, the majority is pushing its luck rather too far. Mr. Speaker, it is the interest of democracy to allow this motion to go through the normal process. Mr. Speaker, we have 137-page report. Mr. Speaker, it is just being distributed. I do not think that even on the majority side, all of them have received copies. Mr. Speaker, and even if they have received, I'm not sure all of them have read it. Mr. Speaker, you have been part of this House since 1993. This is a dangerous precedent. This is a dangerous precedent, and it is a reason why they are whipping their ministers to come into the chamber when they are supposed to discharge their ministerial functions. Mr. Speaker, government is not treating the releases to ministry as an urgent matter, but is in a hurry to pack the courts. Mr. Speaker, a moment ago, we were looking for the finance minister and his deputy. We couldn't find them. Another minister had to move a motion in their stead. Can any government minister tell me now that since we approved the 2025 budget, the releases have been made to their ministry? Can any of them say on record, you have become redundant in your ministries? These matters you are not treating urgent, and then judges that instead of we allowing the report to be read, 2 days, today is Tuesday, you have today, you have tomorrow, then you can move it on Thursday. That is within the rules. Why are you in a rush? Why are you in a rush? Mr. Speaker, I would pray you that don't be inclined into granting this request by the majority leader. Mr. Speaker, direct the majority leader to the rules so that we thoroughly read the reports before considering same. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case.
Honorable members, the submission of the minority leader has followed precedent, and this precedent was established in the national interest, so he has just followed that precedent. The motion that is being sought to move is also to follow precedent, which was established in the first parliament, followed in the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, and we are now in the ninth parliament. And it has all been done in the national interest. So for presidents in the national interest, we will continue to follow them. That is the ruling I'm giving in this matter. And Order 217, particularly Sub-Rule 11, is very clear. It says the committee shall report to Parliament within 3 days. Within 3 days. After the conclusion of proceedings of the committee when Parliament is sitting. And so the report has been presented to the House within 3 days. That is what our rules say. And I believe that it's proper for us to take it. And so I will grant the permission for the motion to be moved, and then we can move on to the substantive matter. So please, Chair, you may move the motion.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I thank you very much for the opportunity to move the motion numbered 12 at page 6 of today's order paper, that notwithstanding the provisions of Order 1041 of the Standing Orders, which requires that a motion shall not be debated until at least 2 sitting days have elapsed after the notice to move the motion is given, the motion for the adoption of the 15th report of the Appointment Committee on His Excellency the President's nomination for appointment as Justices of the Supreme Court of Ghana may be moved today. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder? Yes, please.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion. Thank you.
Honorable members, motion moved and seconded is a procedural motion, so I put the question. Those in favor of the adoption of the motion say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried. We now move to the substantive motion, item 1.3 on the order paper. Chairman of the committee.
Right, Honorable Speaker, I rise to move the motion number 13 at page 6 of today's order paper, that this Honorable House adopt the 15th reports of the Appointment Committee on His Excellency the President's nomination for appointment as Justices of the Supreme Court of Ghana. Right, Honorable Speaker, in doing so, I present the Appointment Committee's report. Right, Honorable Speaker, the committee, following your referral on 20th day of May 2025, and after following and complying with the requirement of the law, vetted the law, particularly Standing Order 217 and Article 144, proceeded to vet all the 7 judges. And it is after vetting that the committee's report is being presented for adoption by the House. I first of all urge the entire House to unanimously adopt the committee's report. Mr. Speaker, I also urge on the Hansard Department.
First of all, I want us to understand where
report as having been read, as I touch on some salient questions that the judges responded to, and then read the conclusion of the report. The Speaker, starting from questions posed to Justice Senyo Jamape, He was asked his view on the doctrine of separation of powers, which he answered eloquently. He was also asked the innovations that would improve on justice delivery in Ghana. Another question is about the independence of the judiciary and suppressing of investigative journalism to protect.
Also live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale. We're live on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. What you've been listening to just some few minutes gone by, it's the live coverage of Parliament's sitting as is ongoing. The report of the Appointments Committee on the nominees for the Supreme Court by the President has been laid now by the chair of the Appointments Committee, that's the first Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Bernard Ahiafo, and the Parliament is considering the approval of the 7 justices of the Apex Court. So this is what is happening now in Parliament, some 18 minutes after 5 here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. But away from Parliament, let's get into some issues that indeed created a number of reactions from lots of you who have been following how things have been playing out, especially in the New Patriotic Party. There's more growing discontent to the decision by the opposition New Patriotic Party National Executive Committee exactly a week ago to proceed to hold its presidential primary for the 2028 general elections without reforming the delegate structure for the polls. Now, this evening, close allies of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia ahead of the 2024 election, that's the likes of Cabinet Japan, they voiced out their discontent and their disapproval of that said decision by the National Executive Committee to organize the flag bearer elections on the 31st of January. This is Cabinet Japan speaking when he met some members of the party, and in fact also reiterating the point that has been made by the likes of Kennedy Japan about this decision taken by the party's National Executive Committee. He says it is not the best and there has to be a rethink.
I was one of the few people that committee no friend me say oh me propose am the buy no o ma hwe ye pa na ade nam se me das. Ti o wa kai me nim say ade o ma fa ni na chese. I did my junior whole party at the Bebua party. Oh, I'm accepted former constituency chairman, former regional, former national, former MPs, former ministers, former DCs, Nina. Police station almost does not honor me a human. I want the mountain here. Did sorry or meeting them? Tina mountain here and I say, almost yeah, progressive. Expansion. Now the two become. And was as a two. One and a once in the back point. A dear more system nan force na. A de trouble a bar any braba. Yem fa a dada phono me can. Omude Yemina point on my check. Now, ma a dear no any more inclusive, any complete. People will feel a sense of belonging again. Oh, and then it is a more democratic arrangement, more reflective of the base of our party. It me and no sadia. Let's see a presidential candidate no first. He said the kind. No. Oh, Sena agenda for oh my fa presidential the news. Cabinet Japan says top from bottom is my motto from bottom. My bottom from top. Make her say the current situation in a woman division say bano. See it need be to say the American and I put it in fine print and I sent it around. That's right. It was clear say after we have achieved the expansion of the Electoral College. And so no my Daniel did. Now a binum crass here, Minam Kofa and I wouldn't say them and be a seminar dream Panama de buy. Man Tiasi. Party is so funny say nipa ni penny. We are dear crown now you know ya dear junior papa no be junior boniama. So auntie you call meeting and I make sure that two on for say. Yeah, concentrating on expansion, no, and then here party for no. na yema message of expansion mu enko out na encheri bia ye be national delegates conference so honestly a take a decision for the presidential election yenye oh bia nyantu omsi yenye nzia enti ye meeting no enema party ni na yanti o the only thing that everybody is talking about is the presidential primary the 31st. Meanwhile, it's not the date of the election, but those who are going to be part of the electoral college. And only here, intermediate between now and 19th to make campaign.
Well, that's Kwabena J. Japan, one-time flag bearer hopeful of the New Patriotic Party. If you recall, he joined forces with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia going into the 2024 elections. And you just heard him there addressing party members. He says that decision by the National Executive Committee is not one that he supports. He says, yes, the Professor Michael Quay fact-finding team contacted him to seek his views. He made a suggestion, and he says that there was some agenda to twist what he had said, that he was supporting the top-bottom approach, which is being adopted now. And he says he never made any statement in support of this approach that has been announced by the National Executive Committee of the party. He is one of a number of top people within the New Patriotic Party who have expressed their disapproval of this decision. You heard Kennedy Japan as well, and then also this as Boache Jaco, who's described this decision as nonsense. Dr. Jonathan Asante has been looking at how the reactions to this decision has been over the past at least 1 week. Exactly a week the party took this decision. He's joining us on the telephone. He's a political analyst and a lecturer, senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast. Dr. Asante, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, my brother Alfred, and good evening to your listeners.
You just heard Kwabena J. Japan there. I mean, he's adding on to the many people who are criticizing the decision. But listening to the details of his reasoning for his disapproval, how does it strike you? To the extent that, yes, he met the committee, he made a suggestion, and that's been twisted to mean that he supports this decision.
Well, obviously, it reinforces the idea that there is definitely an agenda that some people have set as a way of skewing the impending elections to favor a particular candidate. Don't forget that prior to the 2024 presidential primaries, MPP presidential primaries, special presidential primaries, and the presidential primaries itself, we had about 10 candidates before the special presidential primaries. Now, out of this 10, 9 suggested that they should organize the elections, in a particular area, in a concentrated area. Dr. Bawumia had no voice, he had no view to that. And yet, NEC, or is it SEC or NEC, went ahead to do a decentralized form of election. So, who were they favoring? Because if the election is about stakeholders, you have 9 out of 10 who are stakeholders for whom you are going to conduct the elections for. And yet you went ahead to do otherwise. So I would not be surprised if they went ahead, right, to conduct the presidential elections on the 31st of January. I believe sincerely, and I have done the analysis with you, I think, yesterday and so many other platforms, it just does not make sense to me. If you are using old delegates, old register, right, to conduct a fresh election, it just does not make sense. Besides, not too long ago, the Michael Quay report came. So, logically, we need to see some changes, some constitutional amendments at the conference scheduled for July. And then you can go ahead to do the implementation along that path. And if you do the implementation along that path, then certainly the reforms will take their shape along the line. So that means you will now be building the structures of the party, at every level, and you get to the presidential, primaries as well. But it appears that roles have been turned upside down. People have agenda. Others are trying to preserve their positions now and in the near future. And all of these are creating some kind of market. That is the more reason why I've said that, look, where the NPP finds itself, they are at the crossroads, they are facing leadership crisis, the authority of national executive, seem not to be there. And they are just confused individuals. And so the other point ought to be made that, look, perhaps the way and manner President Akufo-Addo handled the party itself as if it was just the property of a few, virtually alienated the base of the party. And once Mr. Akufo-Addo is no longer present as the leader, you could see that the center is not holding. There is no individual that can cast the weight for which everybody else will follow. There is no such individual because it just does not make logical sense. For example, that Dr. Brian Tampon, who became an avowed supporter of Dr. Bawumia, suddenly turns around and says that he also wants to contest for the presidential slot. What is happening? Is it not a case of leadership crisis? Is it not a case of Dr. Bawumia not, being accepted hook, line, and sinker or in a wholesome manner by the entirety of the support base? All these and many other questions that they are grappling with ought to be answered because I have never seen this arrangement before. Yes, I have said that I can agree to some extent why they want to turn the roles or want to do it from the top to the bottom. Of course, it is because there's too much heat, there's too much acrimony. And so you want to cure this mischief by, conducting the presidential elections. And once that is done, then it means that you have the head and the body will follow suit. These have their own negative ramifications, on which, other stalwarts of the party are raising concern. As whether they will hearken to that, I don't know. But it tells you that the center is not holding. And that's quite unfortunate they've gotten to this level.
I say, but you hear the people who are speaking and who are supposed to be part of the top hierarchy. I mean, the top tier, the positions within the party, and they are the ones who are voicing their disapproval publicly. I mean, how can that, how would that hurt the party if it is not checked? Especially because you've had already 3 of those who were supposed to be eyeing the flag bearership saying they do not approve of this particular decision.
Well, what that means is that the MPP itself has not learned anything from the disaster that is suffered in the 2024 election. These are some of the decisions that they have been taking that have led to some splinter groups coming out of the party. Like the likes of Alan Samantin, and now we have a new person, is it Dr. Something, who also intends to, form a party out of the bloc of the MPP. Certain decisions may alienate the grassroots. Now, that is the more reason why I support the views of others who are suggesting that, look, the structures of the party ought to be built, out of which you can produce a presidential candidate that can help you win the presidency. But as of now, there is no structure. You see, you have been groomed brutally from the elections that was not long ago conducted. This is not the time to make unpardonable mistakes once again. You need to get your act together. Go by proper consensus. Don't go into meetings with an agenda that everybody can read in between the lines that it is clear. It surprises me that a certain elite leadership of the party will still want to wholeheartedly support, which is their democratic right though, wholeheartedly support Dr. Bawumia. I think that they may want to sit down and do proper introspective analysis, devoid of passion or bias. They need to do that assessment because there is no way Dr. Bawumia would set a baggage, before and behind him, could easily market himself in such a way that he will gain wholesale acceptability by all and sundry. Besides, bear in mind that in this country, the main support base of either NDC or MPP cannot give you outright victory. You would need the non-aligned, you would need independent-minded, you would need floating voters, and so on and so forth. They are in their millions. And so you don't need persons who are brutally tainted along the line to lead the party. And even if that is the case, if the system is not skewed and it is fair and he wins, that is what the party believes in. So you take him there, and when he loses, you cannot blame anybody but the party itself. And so that is democracy. You would have used the structures to re-elect him. That is fair. Let him go to the contest and see what happens. When he loses, it is fairly in the quarters of the party. So the structures of the party now, they are in tatters because those who are the helm of affairs do not have the wherewithal to crack the whip because nobody is going to listen to them. And especially, those who have been seen to be outright supporters of Dr. Bawumia, what that means is that the rest will always oppose them. And so I like what Haruna, the Deputy General Secretary, said, that, you see, those are the helm of affairs will have to play fair by everybody. You see, and that in itself is a good call. But if you are seen...
But will fairness be achieved? Will that call and the play of fairness be achieved, especially with how things are playing out now, from what you said?
I don't see that happening. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening. The only period that you can see fairness playing is that let us go back to status quo. Don't be in a hurry to elect a flag bearer. As for the murkiness, it will come. They believe that they are washing too much of their dirty linen in public. You can call on them to be measured because now you find yourself in a position. If you give a punchline, others will give serious, punchlines against you, and it will be counterproductive because it will be punchline against the other. That is not the way to build a party. So for now, they should go back to the drawing board, revert to the status quo. If you think that early elections will help, you can start from the ground or the bottom. Do it accordingly so you get to the point where you elect the flag bearer. Thinking that because of the acrimony, you want to forestall the acrimony, the structures that you want to use to stop the acrimony will inure to the benefit of one particular individual or one particular candidate. That will not produce fairness, and that will create or foment further disunity within the party.
And in fact, we are just also receiving news of another group of former MMDCs who are saying that they do not support the said announcement of they declaring their support for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, because yesterday, if you recall, we heard the former MC for Adenta who says he is the spokesperson for the 220 former MMDCs who met Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia yesterday. Another group says that yes, they were part of the meeting yesterday, but they did not talk about declaring support for any of the flag bearers. They were just going to meet them as they met Kenneth Japan sometime last week. I want to take a listen to him, okay? Then I'll find out from you what you're reading of how all of this is playing out. This is a former MMDC for Juman South speaking to the media yesterday.
Honorable Ken, so and check, and it is former vice president, the Koba in the same year. The Beshanaya to some meeting, this last week and this week, so that in the north and other areas, almost yes, programming at the book. And unfortunately, yesterday on Thursday, the Kushia. Yeah, Papa, Honorable Ken, Ohine, and Kubraku at Japan. Thursday. When you think about Kaba, you as I said, or the mine as TNT, or the mine, and the call. Papa Brian, yes, so was on Saturday and Sunday. It is Saturday in the call. Poposia Kama, what you need. For live by my, I get chain and only a share. And then my party, the vision for this country. One who are invited, media, and declare, say, say we do na party we go be nomination for our Fabrice contest of the coup. On your side, come on, when you be at one Kasa and Tubia, and then yes, or your mind as the TNT, what the mind and that didn't I buy. Then that on a back, and I ever be here for my vice president. Platform so, Yan decided that Pia said, Yaba, Yan former MMDC, Yaba be declared, I'm a one particular candidate. Honorable Kenya Japan, Yan Sadler, Honorable Brian, Yan decided, Sana, former vice president, and so Yan decided. And this will be said, MMDC for Yakabo, Messi and Rossi, the former vice president, and there was no discussion. Meeting, I say, you meeting, and I mean, Madame Fubi, and I am calling. Okay, say, oh, young declaration. I'm declaration, baby. I'm not going to say, oh, that was him. Because for me, when you maybe you walk into one from it. Yet, they say, yeah, declaration. MMBC for you, I declare, I'm a Dr. Mahmoud for the unity of the party. 2028 election year come. Say for year 2024, there now our constituency chairman, MPs, regional executive, national executive, and declare now one candidate or the other. I think have the Buba party more. The coalition will to Tono. Say aside for yes, I will be over. Yes, someone. When you are MMDC, when you problem are your firm.
Well, so that's a former MMDC there. In fact, in the video we just showed on Facebook at 3FM927, he was surrounded by a number of other former MMDCs who were at this same meeting with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia yesterday, where they are reported to have declared their support for him. But Dr. Sanchotre, you heard him. He says that declaration is not a representation of all 220 of them. What's going on?
Well, I saw this video as of yesterday when you even conducted the interview on TV3. I had already seen it. And so I said that, well, it tells you that, as the late John would tell you, dear delegate, you could see that there's that kind of sharp division between, the MMDCs as a corporate entity. They felt that they had to be very consistent. They did not declare for anyone. Besides, if they had hedged, that would have been something good for them as a bargaining chip. That would have really helped them. But now that some have tipped off their hands, then it means that their position is already known. But it also tells you that there isn't formal unity among the MMDCs. And that also tell you that it's not everybody who is in support of, the agenda of Dr. Bawumia.
Doc, I appreciate your time on this. Thank you so much. Dr. Jonathan Asantiotre is a political analyst, also a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast, joining us with his thoughts on this. So live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Let's cross over back to Parliament, because the vetting, in fact, the debate on the Appointments Committee report or the Supreme Court nominees, 7 Supreme Court nominees, has been laid in Parliament. And the Honorable Haruna Idrisu Tamale South Member of Parliament, the Education Minister, is on the floor now. Has been laid in.
Speaker, Parliament is coming to approve the nomination. So, Mr. Speaker, I speak in favor of the motion, and again with respect, Mr. Speaker, I want to address the question raised by the Honourable Anyimetu. I may again, Mr. Speaker, refer you to Article 128. 128. Mr. Speaker, maybe you are now arguing today. 10 years back, it's always been my view that there should be a capping and ceiling of the number of Supreme Court judges. I even made a paper for CDD with Justice Pega then. But Mr. Speaker, what does the Constitution say today? President Mahama is not operating with an anticipated Constitution in the future. He is operating with the 1992 Republican Constitution, not a future Constitution. So, Mr. Speaker, if the argument by the Honorable Anyimedu and many of our colleagues is that seek an amendment to Article 128, that we have heard you, and that we all should resolve, must attract the attention of the Constitutional Review Committee, so that the Constitutional Review Committee in its work will consider providing for a capping, so that this question of whether 17, 19, 20, as he argued. But Mr. Speaker, Article 128 is crystal clear. It reads, and I quote for the record, the Supreme Court shall be due, 1281, the Supreme Court shall consist of the Chief Justice and not less than 9 other justices of the Supreme Court. Not less than 9. Not less than 9, mathematically, you did arithmetic. It means it can be more than 9. And 19 is more than 9. 20 is more than 9. Even 21 is more than 9. Judicial mathematics. Mr. Speaker, that is not to say I'm departing from a generally held view, which is my own view, that we should provide for a cap of a maximum of Supreme Court judges. But Mr. Speaker, until we review the Constitution, make fundamental changes to Article 128, the President is bound to respect the 1992 Constitution and its provisions. In any case, when you kept appointing justices of the Supreme Court, did you ever respect when the Ghanaian people said that lower, provide for a threshold? Today, because you are sitting opposite, you want to obstruct the right of President Mahama to appoint justices of the Supreme Court. Then, Mr. Speaker, finally, in the whole northern Ghana, Mr. Speaker, if there is a matter pending at the appeals court, they are compelled to travel to Kumasi and sometimes to Accra in search for justice. That should not be the case. That should not be the case. So not just the Supreme Court, even expansion of the Court of Appeal to the Upper West region, to the Upper East region, to the Northern region must necessarily occupy our attention. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, one of the justices talked about demystifying legal education and expanding legal education. Mr. Speaker, even into next year, we will invite this House to make allocation for the expansion of the School of Law, supported by GET Fund. A request has been received by government through Professor Raymond Atubga of the Faculty of Law. And government is giving it good attention so that into next year we expand it, so that we train more lawyers. Mr. Speaker, with these comments, I beg to support the motion that this House approve the nomination of those justices of the Supreme Court, because the President has only done what is lawful within the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana and what is within his mandate as President of the Republic to appoint justices on the advice of the Judicial Council and to go through the process of the Appointments Committee. Mr. Speaker, even finally, we are talking about asset declaration, and you are asking people, I've seen even arguments that members of parliament, ministers should declare their assets publicly. Yes, if you want to do so, it's the right thing to do, but amend the Constitution. If you don't amend the Constitution as it is provides for the form and nature of asset declaration. If you do anything outside it, that's not acceptable. But to deepen transparency and to ensure that incomes that are earned by public officers, whether ministers or justices, are commensurate with their income, I share the view that there should be more openness in asset declaration. But as it is now, within the Constitution, we only can go through this audit service report. With this comment, Mr. Speaker, I support the motion.
There's a live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesme 107.1 and on W93.5 in and beyond. That you just heard Haruna Idrisu, who is the Minister in charge of Education and Tamale South Member of Parliament, and on the floor of Parliament supporting this motion for the approval of some 7 Supreme Court nominees who were vetted last week. But let's go on to some more issues. The National Identification Authority workers are on strike, and that has brought the entire workforce and the work of the NIA to a standstill. What do we know?
Yes, the operations have been paralyzed nationwide as staff commenced an indefinite strike today, protesting the government's failure to pay the operational support allowance. The industrial action declared by a local chapter of the Public Services Workers Union, PSWU, follows months of unmet promises and a collapsed final negotiation with the Ministry of Finance on Monday, June 23. The operational support allowance, a critical supplement to what union leaders describe as meager basic salaries, was agreed upon in July 2024 after prolonged negotiations involving the Ministry of Finance and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. Payments began in August 2024 but were abruptly halted in January 2025 without explanation. Despite repeated assurances from NIA management, the Ministry of Finance has failed to provide a concrete timeline or commitment to resume payments, leading to the strike. The action has affected services including, among others, the issuance of Ghana cards and card replacement. Some of the frustrated members of the public who were left stranded at the NIA offices spoke to the news team.
Have spelling mistake on my Ghana card, and I was directed to come here. I came here, that was 2 days ago. And I was asked to come back with my school certificates. That's WAS certificates. So this morning, I didn't hear anything about any strike going on. So that's why I'm here this morning, but only to be told that they are on strike. We're just about to start our national service, and they are requiring this Ghana cards as part of our documentation. So if I don't get it on time, it's going to affect me.
I'm here to get a replacement for my Ghana card because I was robbed last week, Saturday. Came here yesterday for it, but due to the network system, they couldn't do it, so they told me to come this morning. And this morning when I came to, they said that they are on strike. Which yesterday they did not tell me anything, so right now I'm confused on why yesterday they did not tell us that they were going on strike.
Now, the NIA management has issued a passionate appeal urging striking workers to return to work, pledging renewed efforts to resolve the impasse. But the union insists it will only call off the strike upon full and prompt payment of the owed allowances. Over to you, Alfred.
And this is one we're keeping an eye on and how things are playing out in especially the Ashanti region because of the impact of this strike by the National Education Authority workers. This is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on KESME 107.1 and on W93.5 in WA and beyond. While we work on the telephone lines to get through to the Public Sector Workers Union, that's the Deputy General Secretary, John Sampa. We've been monitoring the Ghana Police Service's work in the Half Senate Division, especially about this 27-year-old who was subjected a 12-year-old child to severe beatings. There's the latest on that?
Yes, Alfred. As you said, the Ghana Police Service in the Half Senate Division has arrested Issa Moro, who is aged 58, and Suleiman Abdul. Now, Rashid, who is aged 27, for subjecting a 12-year-old child to severe beatings in a viral video. In the video, the two men are seen to have hanged a boy with a rope tied to a roof and subjected him to severe caning for allegedly stealing 200 Ghana cedis. The boy, although pleaded for mercy, was beaten hard by a male adult. The victim will occasionally rest his leg on mud touch building when he obviously becomes tired from the prolonged hanging. After the beating, a middle-aged man comes to smear a substance many believe to be ginger or pepper around his body and genitals. The incident is said to have happened at the New Akansa community near Elubu in the Western region. The suspects are currently in police custody, assisting with investigations. But meanwhile, the boy who was rescued by the police has since been handed over to his father after receiving some medical treatment. Well, this is quite sad, Alfred.
Indeed, and we're working on the telephone shortly. DSP Olivia Adiku, who is the Western Regional Police Public Relations Officer, is going to be joining us on the telephone in a bit to have a conversation on this rather unfortunate incident, this situation there here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, also on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. If you're just joining us, we're just getting reports of the Ghana Police Service in the Hafasini Division arresting Issa Moro, 58, and Suleiman Abdul Rashid, age 27, for subjecting a 12-year-old child to severe beatings in a viral video, which is no number of you have seen. Then in the video, these two men are seen to have hanged the boy, the 12-year-old boy, with a rope tied to a roof and subjected him to severe caning for allegedly stealing 200 Ghana cedis. Now, the police, from what we gather, this boy, who was rescued by the police, has since been handed over to his father after receiving medical treatment. DSP Olivia Adiko is the Western Regional Police Public Relations Officer. She's joining us on the telephone. Madam, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Hello, DSP. Thank you for your time this evening.
Yeah, please, I'm a superintendent, not DSP.
Superintendent Olivia Adiko, I thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. And thank you for agreeing to talk to us. Appreciate you.
Okay.
First off, are you able to give us an update on this story we are just hearing of this boy who was hanged and caned by these two men? We understand you have these two men in your custody, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And what is the state of this young boy whom you have returned to his father as we speak?
Yeah, currently the boy is doing well. I just spoke to the officer in charge, and he's fine. He's with the father. As you said rightly, this video went viral, and police went in quickly and were able to locate the village where the incident happened. It's called New Ankasa Community. It's near Elubu. We've been able to arrest two suspects who were found in the video assaulting the victim. One of the suspects is called Issa Moro. He is 58 years. The other is Suleiman Abdul Rashid. He is 27 years. They are currently in our custody. They are assisting in investigations.
I see. And if you say that the boy is fine, the video that we saw has gone viral. I mean, he was subjected to some severe beating and some bodily harm as well. Did you take him to the hospital before giving him back to his father?
Yeah, he has been given medical treatment. He was sent to a Libo government hospital. He was treated and he has been handed over to the father.
I see. When you rescued him, what was his condition like?
Apparently, the incident happened, I think, 2 days earlier before the video went viral. So when we saw him, he was still looking okay, and we were sent to the hospital, and they gave him treatment. So as that now, from my point of view, he's doing well. If there's further checks that the hospital will have to do, the doctors will recommend that.
I see. So if you say when you saw him, he was doing okay, then what exactly is being treated now?
Now the suspects have been arrested. We have to investigate to understand exactly what happened for them to do that. After investigation, they'll be charged and put before court.
I see, but these two, that's Issa Moro and Suleiman Abdul Rashid, how are they related to this 12-year-old boy? They live in the same neighborhood?
They are not related, but they live within the same neighborhood.
Okay, I see. And with your initial interrogation of the two of them, why were they accusing this boy of stealing 200 cedis?
They accused the boy of stealing 200 cedis from a coconut seller within the community. So they decided to mete out this sort of punishment to the boy.
They accused the boy of stealing the 200 cedis from a coconut seller in the community. And when did they say this boy stole this 200 cedis?
The case is under investigation, so I think we'll have to wait to get the full details. Then we can give an update on that.
Madam, and I do appreciate your time on this. At least what we do know is that you have these two people in your custody. So we'll be
in our custody.
Perfect. We'll be checking a lot more on you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
That's Superintendent Olivia Adiku is the Western Regional Public Relations Officer of the Ghana Police Service, giving us updates on this rather unfortunate incident. A number of you, I'm sure, have seen this viral video of this 12-year-old subjected to severe beatings by these two men who are in the police custody as we speak. Isamoro, 58 years of age, and Suleiman Abdul Rashid was 27 years of age. And there's some 3 minutes to the top of the hour. Before we go, let's get an update on the situation on the University of Ghana campus regarding that earlier release of suspected cases of COVID-19 in the university community.
The Health Services Directorate of the University of Ghana is cautioning the university community of a recent resurgence in COVID-19 cases, with a few suspected and confirmed cases reported in the university immediate vicinity. The University Health Services Directorate in a notice noted that in light of the development, all staff, students and visitors are strongly advised to remain vigilant and to strictly adhere to the following recommended preventive measures to reduce the risk of infection in the community, the university community. Well, they're asking that we wear a face mask properly, especially in enclosed or crowded spaces. We're also to wash hands frequently with soap and running water or use alcohol-based hand sanitizers. We're to maintain physical distancing of at least 1 meter where possible. We're also to avoid large gatherings unless absolutely necessary, to ensure good ventilation in offices, lecture halls, and meeting rooms. We're to stay at home if you experience any flu-like symptoms and seek prompt medical attention. The Health Services Directorate has also reactivated its COVID-19 response protocols, including screening measures at health facilities, while it monitors the situation closely for regular updates.
Also live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Stay with us when we're back. We're getting to the world of business. The business news will be up next. And Bismarck Ewusa will be on to give us updates in the world of business after this. Stay with us.
I'm not afraid to be different. I'll be loud and bold. I know they blended. Born from a vibrant culture, I did dance to the beat of my own drum. I'll be the vibe.
In a world where everybody either follow trends, I create them. I'll be trailblazer. And that's the one, the originality.
And when we raise a glass, it's a celebration of who we are. Crafted with flavorful African herbs and fruits to honor people. Enjoy your origin. Drink responsibly. Not for sale to persons under 18. Not recommended to pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
For the game, the formation be simple. 4-4-2. Defense, midfielder, striker, then winger.
Oh, nah, it be 5-4-1.
Who tell you? I be ref since the night.
You can debate formation every day, but there's only one formula that works for Guinness. Chill, tilt, pour. Chill to 6 degrees, tilt to 45 degrees, and pour to enjoy the satisfying and refreshing bold taste of Guinness Pouring Extra Stout. Drink responsibly, not for sale for persons under 18 years of age. Not recommended for pregnant women. This advert is FDA approved.
3FM 92.7.
It has always been a journey of Pan-Africanism and consciousness. It is your regular taxi driver with the urban blend and 3FM 92.7 in living stereo every day, Monday to Friday, from 12:30 p.m. till 3 p.m. This is the show everybody listens to, so your business will certainly do well here. My name, Black Rasta. I am the rootical, hairtical, Don Gargan, Mua Fire. Come forward.
Atinga ya chika fankare, Azure ya chika fankare, Abama ta chika fankare.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio. Accra, Ghana, Africa, and worldwide. Join us on Inspirational Gospel Mix this and every Sunday, 8 p.m. 3FM.
King of kings and Lord of lords, lover of my soul.
Everybody listens to, so your business will certainly do well here. My name, Black Rasta. I am the rootical, hairtical, Don Gargan, Mua Fire.
Come forward. I think I chica fankare, Azure ya chica fankare, Abama ta chica fankare.
3FM, your urban lifestyle radio.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Business News on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors accuses National Petroleum Authority, NPA, of defying presidential directive as it warns of fuel price hikes and threat to energy security over Tema Port berthing dispute. I am Bismarck Kausa. This story and others lined up for you. Please stay. Thanks for your company. Now to the very first story. The Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors is up in arms over what it calls a blatant violation of the President's directive on petroleum imports. It warns that recent actions by the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, could derail Ghana's fuel supply framework and saddle consumers with more pump prices increasing. The following 3 Business News Desk report has the details. The Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors is accusing the National Petroleum Authority of undermining the country's fuel import system and flouting a direct order from the President. In a strongly worded statement, the Chamber said the NPA's authorization for the berthing of the vessel MT Malin Ametrine on June 23rd goes against the approved Lacan import schedule and a presidential directive communicated through the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition. The Chamber says the move disrupts an import timetable designed to stabilize prices and ensure fuel security, adding that frequent unsanctioned changes, over 11 in the first half of this year, have cost importers more than $40 million in demurrage and related charges, with the cost trickling down to consumers. The Chamber also alleges that the vessel's operations were facilitated by Nigerian traders displaced by the Dangote refinery, working through politically connected middlemen in Ghana. It has petitioned the ministry to intervene immediately and restore discipline in the petroleum import regime. And that was a 3 Business News Desk report on the Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors accusing National Petroleum Authority, NPA, of defying presidential directive as it warns of fuel price hikes and threat to energy security over Tema Port berthing dispute. Moving on, the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology says Ghana stands to save approximately 6 billion cedis each year if it effectively manages the use of single-use plastics. The comments follow President John Dramani Mahamat's announcement of plans to ban the importation and production of styrofoam, citing its significant role in environmental pollution. Speaking at the 5th edition of the 2025 Environmental Sustainability Summit, organized by the Business and Financial Times, Sector Minister Murtala Ibrahim Mohammed expressed concern that the country currently recycles less than 10% of its plastic waste out of over 1.1 kilograms waste generated annually.
We should about almost 6 billion if you are able to do some of the things. And you may describe that as an ambitious thing. Because man, you will generate about 1.1 million tons, kilograms of plastics a year. 1.1 million. And we can only be able to get about half of it. More than half, we are not able to collect. And even the about half that we collect, we only recycle 9% of the about half. That is where do they end up? They end up in our water bodies, in our gutters. When it rains now, you see the drainage. So it means that government would have to be spending a lot of money to do things we would have avoided if we didn't have this, this danger of plastics. So if we're able to solve that, we would have been saving so much money, and that would amount to billions of cedis if you're able to do that. Because assuming you are not able to do that, it means that you have to factor that in your GDP, and that becomes expenditure. But if you're able to solve it, you don't spend that. It becomes a revenue to you as a state. So these are some of the things that we're looking forward to doing.
And that was the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology, Murtala Ibrahim Mohammed, who further revealed that the government is in discussions with local plastic manufacturers to explore eco-friendly alternatives suited for the domestic market. The minister reaffirmed government's commitment to working with the private sector to create policies that are both environmentally sustainable and economically inclusive.
I have had some discussions. I was in France and Nice last 2 weeks, and I guess a sister media house engaged me and engaged the president of the local producers of plastics, and they did indicate that they will be coming to see us. That's why I said, look, we are not just going to say we're going to ban. And as part of the processes of getting alternatives, where we can assist our local, plastic producers to divert from either the direct use of plastics in the productions that they have, in the items that ensures our urban convenience. We'll do it with them. We'll not just do it in isolation. And like I said, I don't have doors in my office. So it's not about my doors are open. I don't even have doors. I'm willing at any point in time to engage them, and that is the position of government, that we should not do things in isolation. We need to engage them. Whatever laws that we are able to make for the implementation, we are doing them for the good people of this country, and therefore they must be active participants in the formulation of the policies which may lead to having some legal regimes that will regulate the conduct of everybody in this country.
Murtala Ibrahim Mohammed is the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology. Now, in a bid to minimize waste and improve productivity and profitability in Ghana's agri sector, the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana has engaged some key stakeholders on a national interpretation of global standards. The engagement aims to equip farmers with practices that can address weaknesses in their productions and a broader market coverage, leveraging the Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement, AFCFTA. Speaking to 3 Business, Chief Executive of the Chamber, Anthony Morrison, stressed it will help create a professionalized industry for national development.
Standards helps us to reduce the inefficiencies in cost in terms of production, and also making sure that we increase our profit level because we are becoming more efficient in the production. But more importantly, about the ISO 18616, it's an international standard of which the Ghana Standards Authority is a subscriber of. We're also looking at how we can adequately prepare our smallholder farmers in the commercial sense, in a business sense, for them to also take to be actively take part in the rules of origin, to say which is of the Africa Union after. These are some of the very fundamental things that we need to do as a country. Eventually, this increases our market penetration and export penetration.
And that was Chief Executive of the Chamber of Agribusiness Ghana, Anthony Morrison, and then the business news on Hot Edition with me, Bismarck Ausa. For more business stories, please check out our website, is3news.com. Reku Ampofo is here for sports. Please stay.
A journey of Pan-Africanism and consciousness. It is your regular taxi driver with the urban blend and 3FM 92.7 in living stereo every day, Monday to Friday from 12:30 p.m. till 3 p.m. This is the show everybody listens to.
Take me there. Parents, mark your calendars. It's the 3FM Baby Fair happening Port City in Accra from 10 a.m. and it's absolutely free. From baby essentials and kids wear to toys, skincare, educational material, and so much more. Shop amazing deals on a wide range of childcare products, all under one roof. Don't miss our sessions with the Ghana Pediatric Society and all the amazing mums with the Mum Circle, a safe space for young mothers to share tips and connect. And there will be fun activities for the kids with our Kids Corner, games for the family, good food, and great vibes all around. To be a vendor, please call 0531 100 927 or 0532 200 927. It's the 3FM Baby Fair, your one-stop event for all your child care needs.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to the sports segment here on Hot Edition with me, Oreku Ampofo. We do start off from Black Stars player Mohamed Fusseini, who has been a key player for Belgian side Union Saint-Gilloise, who won the league for the first time in almost a century. Now, in a yet-to-be-aired interview with 3 Sports, the forward detailed how he overcame injury setbacks to reclaim his spot in the team and ended the season with 9 goals.
Yeah, for me, my season, I think as you said, there were a lot of ups and downs. But then I'm still grateful for the season I had. Beginning of the season, I started a lot of games, and then at some point I got injured, and then when I came back, my position was taken, and then I was not angry. I was just like, okay, maybe this is the time for me also to like work hard and get back and then get my position back. So, and when I got back from the injury, I was not playing that much. I came in like played few minutes, and then I had to be ready for the opportunity to come back again. And when the opportunity came for me to start again, I took back my position.
So that interview would be airing on 3 Sports much later during the week. However, let's do some more stories and specifically some transfers because sports marketing expert John Boafo advises Arsenal to retain key players like Thomas Partey, whose contract expires in just a few days on June 30, in order to elevate the team's performance. Now, with multiple clubs showing interest in the Black Stars midfielder, Boafo believes keeping Partey is crucial for the Ghana's future success.
FM 92.7.
I think it will be difficult. I think that both of them will probably need to compromise and maybe find just something in the middle so that Partey stays in the squad, especially in a World Cup year. We want him to be in the club and continue to perform well because he was a key player, and you could see it in the first game against PSG when he wasn't there, and it seemed like this team was struggling because it moved Declan Rice into a position that he wasn't used to playing in really throughout. He needs to be in this club next season for them to go to the next height, and hopefully they'll be able to also get maybe a striker. I saw that they're on the verge of signing Zubamendi in the midfield, but for them to go to the next level, they definitely need to keep their key players, and he's definitely been at this Arsenal side, and he's also been a key player for the Black Stars. So we want him to stay in Arsenal and continue to perform at the highest level so that he can bring his experience and his competitiveness also to the Black Stars.
So that was sports marketing expert John Boafo speaking on Thomas Partey. Now, in just over a week, the 15th edition of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco will be kicking off. And as we build up to that tournament, every day we'll be bringing you significant news, trending topics, and perspective ahead of the tournament, taking a look at the various teams that would be participating. And we'll be starting from the first episode put together by my colleague Akosua J. It's called the WAFCON Daily.
Welcome to WAFCON Daily, your comprehensive build-up to the 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, which will be hosted in Morocco. Today, I will be reminding you of some significant numbers which shows just how much the tournament has improved over a 27-year period. My name is Akosua AJ. The Women's African Cup of Nations is taking place between the 5th and the 26th of July with 12 participating countries. This is a far cry from the 8 who played in 1998. So 27 years ago, any country hosting the Women's AFCON only needed 2 stadiums. Nigeria used the Ahmadu Bello Stadium in Kaduna and the Gateway Stadium in Ijebu-Ode over a period of 10 games. So much has changed since then. For the first time in the tournament's history in Morocco, there will be 6 stadiums spread across the country for the tournament. These venues scattered across the country are the Olympic Stadium in Rabat. We also have the El Bashir Stadium in Mohammedia. Also hosting the Women's AFCON this year will be the Zabi Zola Stadium in Casablanca. Perojego Stadium, also in Casablanca, the Onei Stadium in Oujda, as well as the Berkane Stadium in Berkane. Nigeria have dominated the WAFCON throughout, except in 2008, 2012, and 2022. The Super Falcons of Nigeria have won a record 9 times, while Equatorial Guinea and South Africa have won it twice and once, respectively. In 2010, when Nigeria won their 6th title in South Africa, the Super Falcons scored 19 goals, but Perpetual Nkocha scored 11 goals, including 2 hat-tricks, 2 brace, and a goal in the final against Equatorial Guinea. 13 is the number of times the Women's African Cup of Nations has been hosted or held. So this year in Morocco, once again, we're hoping to see which country lifts that trophy.
And so that was the WAFCON Daily put together by my colleague Akosua Eje. But just before we go, let's hear from Liverpool's newest signing, Jeremy Frimpong, who is thrilled to join the Revs, describing it as a privilege to play for the reigning champions. The Dutch defender praises the Premier League as the best in the world and reveals he would always plan to return to England after a stellar stint with Bayer Leverkusen, where he helped the team win the Bundesliga title undefeated in the 2023-2024 season.
Of course, for me, I think the Premier League is the best league in the world. You know, for me, I've always wanted to play in the Premier League. You know, I grew up in Manchester, so for me, it's like I know how Premier League is. I watch the league always. So yes, it was the plan for me to come back. Yes, but it's a privilege. You understand, especially Liverpool. Like from watching them on TV, LFC TV, to actually playing for them it's mad, man. It's really mad.
Well, that was Jeremy Frimpong, who should be in Ghana later this week, as he comes up with his own initiative as well that was aired on Warm Up on TV3, which is in partnership with Joining Pathways and helps unearth the next talents in Ghana. You'll be getting more details on our social media handles on this project, which takes place this weekend, much later during the week. My name is Ore Kwampofo, and that's how we wrap up the sports segment here on Hot Edition. The show continues right after this.
3FM 92.7.
FM 92.7, Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
3FM, baby fair. Mommy, take me there.
Parents, mark your calendars. It's the 3FM Baby Fair happening live on the 11th to the 13th of July at Marina Mall Airport City in Accra from 10 a.m. and it's absolutely free. From baby essentials and kids wear to toys, skincare, educational material, and so much more. Shop amazing deals on a wide range of childcare products all under one roof. Don't miss our sessions with the Ghana Pediatric Society and all the amazing mums with the Mum Circle, a safe space for young mothers to share tips and connect. And there will be fun activities for the kids with our Kids Corner, games for the family, good food, and great vibes all around. To be a vendor, please call 0531 100 927 or 0532 200 927. It's the 3FM Baby Fair, your one-stop event for all your childcare needs.
So live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Let's do our last story just before we sign out. And the Health Services Directorate of the University of Ghana is cautioning the university community of a recent resurgence in COVID-19 cases, with a few suspected and confirmed cases reported in the university immediate vicinity. The University Health Services Directorate, in a notice, noted that in light of the development, all staff, students, and visitors are strongly advised to remain vigilant and to strictly adhere to the following recommended preventive measures to reduce the risk of infection in the community. Well, these are the things they are saying. They're asking that we wear face masks properly, especially in enclosed or crowded spaces. We are to wash hands frequently with soap and running water, or use alcohol-based hand sanitizers. We are to maintain physical distancing of at least 1 meter where possible. We are to avoid large gatherings unless absolutely necessary. The Health Services Directorate has also reactivated its COVID-19 response protocols, including screening measures at health facilities, while it monitors the situation closely for regular updates. Well, this is where we end Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. I've been doing this with Alfred Ocansey. My name is Christabel Success Trevor. Thank you for joining us. For more news, log on to 3news.com. DJ Faculty is standing by.